Good morning. I want to begin by thanking Gerald Peel for leading our devotions the last few days while I was away, and also say how glad I am to be back. I have really enjoyed doing these and thinking about what I want to say and how I want to say it, and thinking about you having the opportunity to listen to it and to kind of think through these things with me. It's been a neat experience. I've missed being away. For the next several days, the rest of this week, I want us to go through a series I'm going to call Flipping Through Philippians 2. Philippians 2 is a chapter in the Bible where if we only had one chapter in the Bible to help us understand the gospel and understand our response to the gospel, that might be the best chapter for us to have. And so I want us to spend 4 days just looking at what Paul had to say to the church at Philippi, but also, of course, what Paul has to say to us in this chapter. In the first chapter, he writes how thankful he is for the Philippians, how much he loves the Philippians, but he also knows that this is a church that is in some trouble. This is a church that is going through some difficult times, and it is centered on the fact that there are some divisions in the church. In the fourth chapter, he says you've got to help Syntyche and Euodia, two women, have the same mind, and you've got to help them come together under Christ. And so it may be that these two women were forming factions in the church and people were lining up on both sides, or maybe there were some other things, theological problems or worship problems or who knows what, but there were some problems in the church, and Paul is wanting the church to address them, recognizing that they're very difficult. And so he begins the second chapter with these wonderful words, and I'll be using the New Living Translation. Is there any encouragement from Christ? Any comfort from His love? Any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? Then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, and working together with one mind and purpose. Sometimes when we are separated, when we are at odds or polarized, I think we kind of run for the moral high ground. And so Paul is kind of playing with that. He's saying, is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? And both sides are like, yes, I belong to Christ. My side belongs to Christ. Any comfort from His love? Oh, yes, that's me. I love Christ and I experience His love. Any fellowship together in spirit? Oh, yes. Are your hearts tender and compassionate? Yes. Well then, if that's true of both sides, then I'm asking you, make me truly happy by coming together, agreeing wholeheartedly, loving one another, working together with one mind and one purpose. One of the ways we can see this illustrated, how this might look, is the way that a ballerina, a ballet company works together. And it's not all about one or two stars, but it's about the whole company working together. Or an orchestra playing together. And if one person decides they're going to stand up and do a solo when it's not their time and they're trying to call attention to themselves, they ruin it for everybody. When I think about beauty in motion and harmony, one of the things I think about are the Lipizzaner stallions. Lee did a years-long campaign to get me interested in horses, and the very first salvo in her campaign was taking me to see the Lipizzaner stallions. And these are stallions which by itself is impressive. There is a lot of testosterone flowing through these horses. They are all stallions, and they can be a little unruly, a little unmanageable. But the Spanish Riding Club for over 450 years has been training horses and riders to do just what Paul is talking about, being together in mind and in spirit, and then demonstrating for the world something really, really beautiful. And let you just watch a few moments of this, and as you watch, think about the ways that this is a visual illustration of the gospel, how we are to be together in working through the gospel together, being a beautiful witness to the world. See now just a moment or two of the Lipizzaner stallions. they pull that off? It's almost impossible. And when we see what Paul is asking us to do, to agree wholeheartedly, to love one another, to work together with one purpose and mind, it might seem to be impossible. Here's how the Lipizzanner Stallions do it, or an orchestra does it, or a ballet company does it. Here's how we are to do it. We have to keep our minds focused on what we are trying to do, on our purpose, and focus on our director. It's not all about me. If one of those horses or one of those riders decided, I want to make this all about me, it would ruin it for everyone. If one of those horses or one of those riders loses focus and wanders off or does the wrong thing, it's going to ruin it for everyone. But when they are all focused together, not on I'm the star and you need to pay attention to me, but the entire performance is the star. This is, if you will, the gospel in motion here. All of us working together, bringing something together with grace and power and beauty. Then we see that working. And so I'm going to leave you here with that today. Tomorrow we will go even further into how we go about doing this. But today let us be single-mindedly focused on Jesus Christ, our director, and on what He has called us to do, to be agents of grace and hope and love and reconciliation in the world. And if we are called to do that, first with one another as we practice together and work with one another, and then to the world, we truly will be agreeing wholeheartedly with one another, loving one another, and working together with one mind and purpose. We can do that because and only because God is with us. Amen.